The chat is up. We're going to continue with the boule. We're going to continue where we left off last night. It's a little bit earlier, but hey, you know, last night I was kind of like really drained. Let me start this over here too. Make sure everybody is connected. Just give me a second. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me. Okay, here we go. I think I got it. Okay, cool. I said we're gonna finish where we left off. Brother Steve Coakley had a lecture on the boule. If you don't know what the boule is, it's kind of like a black secret society, or black, more like a black I don't want to say fraternity, but it's like those type of groups. You know, you got Masons, you got Trilateral Committee, you got Skull and Bone, you got Wolfhead and Boule. Boule, the word comes from Greek. Gatekeepers or protectors. They're the ones in the front. So last night we broke it down. We broke that part down, like who they are and kind of like their function. We're gonna get more into who they actually are, so you can start identifying some of these people and some symbolism in what they do. Alright, so I want you guys to check it out. Chat is open.
From that eulogy of Charles Wesley's, in that same book, that same night, we found this in tribute to Wesley. Look carefully at the wordage. I'll give you a second to read it. You find that for some reason they take Alfred Lord Tennyson and put him on the left side and put Wesley on the right side. The only thing is similar in both discussions is the damn word round table.
Right.
Model for a mighty world. What's that in the man's hand? What's that in the man's hand? Brother Quasi, does that have any symbolism there, that little spike with the light on it?
Yes, sir.
What would that mean?
Vineyards one stole light. All the week had sand, burning sand, coming across the air to Mount Olympus for the light in Ethiopia. That's why we got the Statue of Liberty, because the French gave America the Statue of Liberty to there in the land, so we got the new light.
Oh, shit. You see what happened? Where's the light going from which hand to which hand? It's going from the left to the right. So the white man just stole the light and he gonna let the boule hold on it.
Now you see, like I said, they're going more into the symbolism. They're talking about, if you go on the Statue of Liberty, they're talking about the bearer of light that she's holding. That light bearer usually it's a symbol for, you know, children of the light, illuminated ones, which is pretty much, it's not a negative thing, but it has been used as something negative and a symbol for something negative. Really, you want to be a light bearer, you want to be a light worker, you want to be that person, but the way they do it now, or the way they've been doing it, they're kind of reversing it. And well, as we go on, you understand why. Because if they keep it the way it's supposed to be done, then it's really not going to be effective for them. So they're breaking that down right now.
When it was theirs from the jump. And that's what the stolen legacy does. It gives empowers one who's thieved. Now, whatever they're saying up there must be in code because it don't make no damn sense when you read it. In the fair order of the table round, a glorious company, the flower of men, who rode about redressing human wrong. They spoke no slander, nor listened to it. When served as a model for a mighty world, they loved one maiden only. One maiden. What is that? What is a maiden? What's a maiden? A woman that stole somebody. So they say it's a group of maiden horses running. Those horses stole those.
It's a woman that's been untouched. Virgin. A woman that's been untouched and pure. Yeah, virgin.
And now, as you can see, part of the ideals of that specific group that they're talking about, they brought up the fact of using a virgin, something pure. When you get into the biblical part about it, there's been many debates about Mary being a true virgin, or is it virgin just in the sense of have not sinned and purity. So I would take it more towards that than the other one, and let's see what they go with it.
Virgin, a maiden. They loved one maiden only. That don't mean they wives now. And they lived for her through years of noblest deeds. And then here come Wesley. Here come Wesley. With some more cold shit. The round table lives. Now he jumps down and makes it make-believe again. Only in poetic life and history. They can live again in us. And we can make them live through us.
Now we're gonna start right there. Now he's getting into the knowledge of always and forever. Who are the real creators? I posted that on my page, on my Facebook page. Pretty much the idea of time, right, creates an ending and a beginning. Without a beginning, you cannot have an ending. So the perception that we're born into, it pretty much is just like a clock counting down, because we're born into that idea. But that does not necessarily mean it has to be the reality. And when you start understanding that, especially melanated creatures like us, we keep coming and we keep creating. We consistently, constantly create, whether it's on this realm or you go to another realm. You know, we're the one getting the reality, and this is some of the secrets that they don't speak about.
It can continue as a dream, and it can continue again through us. Us means who? Boule. Now let's go back one. We just heard from Carol Quigley, who talked about the top of the white secret societies. And he says it's known by several names, which you knew that anything you ever read on the Illuminati says we will have numerous names. You will not know it as one name. It does not even go under the name Illuminati.
And that's a great point. I'm glad the brother brought that up, because nowadays people, like I consistently say, every show, we gotta stop using that word and giving it power for one that it does not have. Okay, we can't do that. We can't continue to give that, put our energy into that. By doing so, we're making it great, and it's not. It has no power unless we give it power. And that's great that he kind of brought up that whole point of people still using that, and it's pretty much worthless only a select few can get it, you know. And you still gotta be diligent. Like, you gotta understand what you're doing, and really get into your meditation and, you know, all that good stuff. We'll get deeper into that too. I'm trying to do something really cool. There we go. Now I see. Okay. New people. How you guys doing? New people. Welcome. So, we'll continue on. So pay attention. Pay attention to what he's saying and how that term isn't even being used anymore. There are several different groups, and this is what we went over last night. It's a Illuminati network. So there's no one thing saying that's the Illuminati or that's the Illuminati or anything like that. You can't point to it. What you have is a network of many different organizations, small clubs, people that have made pacts, religion, religious figures and ideals involved in that, and then they come together and they create the idea of Illuminati network. Now, just like to recap, biblically, it's nothing wrong with that. They say you are the bearers of the light. You are the enlightened ones. That's what you want to be. So, if you're a person who follows the Abrahamic religions, then you wouldn't look at that term and say, "Hey, that's something negative." You know, you wouldn't do that. And if you were to do that, then you'd be doing it falsely, because what makes it evil? Why wouldn't you want to be a light bearer? You see what I'm saying? So these are the type of things that we have to understand when you go into getting into this information, and there's so much out there, and a lot of it is trash. Thanks for becoming a fan. I appreciate it. But that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna kind of break down stuff and kind of weed through a lot of the nonsense and just get right to the points you guys can understand, and take notes and start studying and preparing yourself. And I'm not one of these people that's going to sit here and tell you, oh, well, prepare yourself because it's going to be this great war and all of that. That's nonsense. That don't even put that in your psyche. Okay? Anything on this plane, right, that we all agree that we're on right now, right? Let's say it's all peaceful. It's all calm. This is an environment that is built for growth and to obtain knowledge. When we come into here, this is the mindset we have to be in. Not in the mindset of fear, okay? Not in the mindset of revenge, okay? Solely in the mindset of learning and being constructive with it. So let's keep going with this. But that's a good point. We really have to understand that. So here we go.
That is that Illuminati you've been looking for.
Round table. That's it.
And the boule will never acknowledge knowledge of it because it's their goal to protect it and keep it secret. Maybe that's why they didn't want to tell us who they were, because then we'd have to say, well, what are you doing standing there? Brother, I'm going to save this one because when you come, I want you to go back to that. I'm going to lead this up for you just right. Now, let's go to the boule. Yeah, there we come. The Grecian Sphinx. Here they come. I'm getting ready to now verify their constitution. Just like court trial. I really should have set it up like court, but I didn't have time. We had too many things to manage. Trying to deal. I suffered from not having this together because I've been all day in Long Beach on my knees trying to get this stuff out of that place. But we to save that for another trip. Says here, let me go back. At the end of that line was the seal of the fraternity. We gotta bring it down a little bit. Excuse me a second. The seal of the fraternity shall consist of the Grecian sphinx and urn, and the Greek letter sigma pi phi encircled by a hand bearing the word sigma pi phi, fraternity incorporated, encircled by a hand. Now, you remember we talk about the hidden hand, the hand. Those articles where they're always telling you something negative about what they...
I'm going to pause a little bit. Just the simple fact that it had incorporated at the end of that should let you guys know what's the main objective of this particular group, or what they want, or what they're trying to do. It has all to do with money, all to do to gaining power. There's other things when we start getting into harp and things like that. We'll get deeper into that, but we're just sticking with the boule right now, and we're seeing that you have these levels of a hierarchy in play. Okay, so you have certain prominent black figures. I just call them black, whether they're African or not. I say black figures throughout the world that consistently come in and protect European values, westernized religion, anything that is pretty much used to oppress. You'll see this black group come and they combat people who tries to attack that. And it's very interesting because it's not done in a simple protest or something of that nature. No. It's done with the way they give you information. It's done by what they say. And what's more important, what they don't say. What they won't tell you. Okay, so now what happens is if they don't tell you something, you're going to be ill prepared for any type of attack or any type of change. And that's what it does. And that's the whole point of the boule. That's how they tap. That's their function, and that's how they protect the hierarchy, the people over them. So at that level, that's what they're there to do. They're on a level that's, you have a military level here that's just strictly their fighting, but you have this other level where the boule lies at, and what they do is, this is where you get a lot of the black entertainers, whether it's sports or singing, it's all entertainment. Okay, you get a lot of the black writers, you get all of these people that on the surface you think, oh, these are normal people in there, they're there to help, and I'm pretty sure they went in with that, but they don't really do that. What they do, they spin stories and they distract. Okay, so like for instance, you have a major event happen in Texas, right? Well, all of a sudden, let's say Kobe Bryant all of a sudden goes for 100 points, and it's like, whoa, what just happened? Well, the news are gonna go here because now what's important is being guided into another direction. And that's one of the main purposes of the boule, is misdirection. This is why we continue to get pushed into being athletes and entertainers, because they want you to use your melanin, right? They want you to use that to deflect what's really going on. Let's finish this up.
They're doing, and they always show you the hidden hand doing it. Now you see that picture of hands? Now you say, well, what are them hands just doing out there? Well, the story is called Colonialism is Back. And not a moment too soon. And it openly advocates taking over Africa. Openly. New York Times, August 18th, 1993.
Hear that? New York Times, April 18th, 1993. You have your archives, you have Google, check him out. You'll see a lot of this stuff is on the president's agenda, and it always has been. Depopulation has always been the number one thing on the president's agenda, and I think that's even, I want to say, since FDR was in office. Okay, so understand, when you see these organizations that's being set up, right, and I'm assuming some of you people heard of eugenics, right, and they want to isolate certain people and make sure that they don't procreate, and then they want to try to, plant stuff over here, so if they do procreate, the kids, they have like mental issues, because you're putting certain leads in the water. It's crazy. It's biological, psychological, and it's spiritual warfare all at once. And you have to understand that. You have to train yourself in that and stay away from just, like I said, when you go on YouTube and you could type in Jay-Z and Beyonce, and then they're going to give you all these conspiracy theories and things of that nature. Now, what I would tell you to do is this: use those people for a practice of breaking down and knowing what symbols look like. Okay, when they give you those type of entertainers, use those people as practice. So the little symbology that they're giving and that they're putting out, so you can recognize it. Okay, it's just sharpen in your eye. Then I would say, go watch C-SPAN. Let's see how politics work, because that's what that channel is showing you, right? And see how they conduct it, how they have to present the law. They have to vote on it. Some people contest it. You can see ahead of time what's gonna pass and what isn't, because this is how it works. Okay, you had that pre-programming where they're already telling you this is not going to go this way and this is not going to go that way, and the symbols are there for you to understand that. So, not to put any power, don't give, Jay-Z and Kanye and all this stuff. It's not about giving them power. That's a whole nother thing that they're doing, but they're also being used as pawns in another scheme. But it's a whole tricky game going on, and I'll get to that. But I want you guys to get the basics right now. So I want you to understand, when you see these entertainers and you see them throwing up different things and symbols, learn them, and don't just learn them from a westernized Christian point of view. Because when you do that, you're going to take away, number one, what it really is about, and number two, you're not going to learn nothing from it, because the first thing you're going to do, you're going to see a pyramid, you're going to say that's the devil. You're going to see an eye, you're going to say that's the devil. You're going to see Horus, Osiris, Isis, you're going to say devil, 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 devil. That's what you're going to do. That's what they tell you. Pagans, right? So, get that out of your head. Get that out. When you start getting into the symbolism, you understand that each symbol has a different ideology behind it. Okay? So when you go in, you gotta know that. So I can't go in talking about Kemet, and looking at symbols from Kemet, but I'm trying to prove the story of Moses. I couldn't do it. It wouldn't work. You understand that it doesn't make sense. Because you know that. You would know that. You would understand that it's a myth. You would already get that. But if you're going in with that, then you're going to be lost, and you're going to continue to see these same old symbols that he just keep throwing out there just for the heck of it, and you gravitate to it. Let's finish up with Brother Copley got to say.
But I'm gonna get all the stuff for you too. You'll want this. I mean, they openly advocate it, but this is who they show is doing it.
Want to give a date on that? 1982.
August 18th, 1993, Sunday New York Times Magazine. I'm sorry. April 18th, 1993. I appreciate that. Check on the correction. But you see little black hands at the bottom?
That's the date. If you want to go reference that in the archives, get that date, write that down. You can check it out. That's how we used to have to do it, man. Back in the day, we go to the library, go to the archives. That's where you find, old news clippings and things of that nature.
And big white hand at the top, and HAND means something. Sure. And it has that. Let's face it, some countries are just not fit to govern themselves. We're witnessing today a revival of colonialism in a new form. It's a trend that should be encouraged. It goes right on to say we're going to take the fuck out of Africa and list the 10 countries they taking first. It's New York Times.
Now, they're letting you know, and this is all, about 30 years ago almost? And they're letting you know, hey, at these places that have these certain resources, we finna go in there and just plunder and purge everything up out of there. And we finna take that. And they're telling you this in the newspaper. It's fascinating how things are done right in plain sight. Personally, like myself, I like dealing with other people that let's see what we got. What is the best evidence that we have that we are in the end times prophesied in Revelation in the Bible? Well, see, this is the thing, and I'm glad you kind of brought that up, because, like I said before, if you come in and you look at these symbols through the lens of westernized Christianity, right, you're gonna get it all wrong, and you're gonna get a fear tactic there, and that's been going on forever. The world was supposed to be in it forever. You know what I'm saying? They have the destruction of Jerusalem was already prophesied about. Now it already happened. But when you start talking about Revelation, just for kicks, I can go down that road with you and we'll say, what seal do you think we in? Probably, I don't know, let's say we're in the 5th seal that has been broken. Okay, why would I say the 5th seal? Because at that seal we had certain destructions that was related to water, right? But the key, and if you believe this, the key is this: as long as there's wars and rumors of war, then the end is only near. It's not at hand, it's near. Okay, so as long as those things happening, you technically don't have anything to be scared of. You should be scared of when it's a false peace. When you read that in Revelation, where they talk about that false peace, and that's when you get that antichrist, which means instead of. People look at anti as against. Anti is instead of. So you would get a figure, right, that would come and pretty much answer all your problems. Lead the herd, right? Gather in the new flock for the harvest, right? So if you want to go into the Bible, best way I can tell you, especially like if you want to go Revelations, understand that right there. Understand the parable of the fig tree, because that's documented. And that's where you get Israel becoming a nation in 1947. And you go back and you read the parable of the fig tree, and it connects that. Okay? And the only reason why I could do that is because they wrote the fucking book. It's not really prophesied. It's just shit that they plan to do ahead of time. That's like if I have a plan to build 2 houses up down the street from me, in 3 years, and then I do that, and you come by and read, I didn't prophesize that. That's nothing. That's just a plan for the future, thinking ahead. You know what I'm saying? So, if you want to use that, use that. But then you had a rapture doctrine that you got to go into, and even within the rapture doctrine, you got different levels. Some people believe in pre-tribulation rapture. That means before all this earthquakes and all kind of disasters happen, that these people will be caught up and taken away in a twinkling of an eye, right? That's pre-rapture, pre-tribulation rapture. Then you got mid-tribulation rapture, where you're still here as the church, right? Because you know in Revelation there's only 2 churches, Philadelphia and Syria, or Smyrna, Syria, that were considered good. The other ones was already not, right? So if you're gonna go that route, then that means you'll be here going through some stuff, but you'll be protected, and then you will be taken away later. Then you have ones who just says, hey, you know, the rapture comes after everything's already done. Now, my personal opinion on that, my personal take on that, according to the scriptures, it said, well, he said that if not, he says he shortened the time, because if he had not shortened the time, even the elect would fall. So that tells you that it's a mid-tribulation situation. So the people that think they're going to vanish beforehand, your Bible tells you that's not going to happen. You're taking verses from Matthew, one in the field, and then now one is going, and you're not understanding. But you got to read 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, because that's where you get the meat of that whole idea of rapture. They only wrote 2nd Thessalonians because people were confused, so they went back and wrote 2nd Thessalonians. They say, don't be confused about the coming and about the gathering together. There must be a falling away first, and the falling away first is when you're being deceived by Antichrist. And it ain't no fucking a red suit or nothing like that. It's something that you possibly have created with these images that you have, and it's going to look very familiar, and it's going to be very, very convenient and comfortable for you. It's not a situation where somebody breathing fire or some dumb shit like that, if that's what you believe. So I just, for the people who go that route, there you go. I just had to break that down real quick. And it's cool, because now everybody get an opportunity to hear that, but there's no need to be scared of it. You understand what I'm saying? What did he say? Wow, very knowledgeable. Thank you. Well, I mean, you're welcome. But like I said, man, just if you're into that, you know, just be patient and read. Just read, man. Always tell people, a lot of Bible people, they love to jump to Revelation, and they start dealing with the symbols in that, and it confuses people a little bit. But you don't even need to deal with all of that. You know, before you get there, get 1st and 2nd Thessalonians. When you read 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, and you take that rapture doctrine, which started in 1830, it was a woman in Scotland. She came up with this doctrine based off of a dream she had. This is facts, okay? And this is where you get the rapture doctrine. actually in the Bible. It's nowhere. The word rapture is nowhere in the Bible in any translations. What it is called is being caught up. That's what it's called. You will be caught up. Okay? And they said instead of caught up, they said rapture and came up with that theory. Okay? So you got those, you got the rapture doctrine, and those are the three theories within that doctrine, and you have to decide which one you think is going to be your fate. Are you going to get out of here before shit happens? Are you going to be in here getting protected while it's happening? Or are you going to go through the whole thing and get then boom, taken up to the kingdom? So for Christians that's reading Revelations, you really have nothing. I would tell you it's nothing to be scared of. Why? Because I don't see shit getting peaceful. Okay? Like it says, as long as you hear these wars and rumors of war and all this stuff going on, then that means it ain't happening yet. That's all that means. It's not going down yet. But when it's peace, you understand? That's what it says. But when it's peace, that's when the time is at hand. And that's in the scripture. So definitely go into that if that's where you at. Back to the symbols though, like I said, when you get into this, you don't want to. I suggest you don't bring in that any Abrahamic type of religion ideology to it, because why? They have already demonized all of these symbols. Okay, the whole Old Testament is about destroying Egypt and its so-called pagan gods and pagan religions. That's what the Old Testament is about, the Exodus and all of that. And I ain't even finna get into how that shit never happened, but that's what that's about. Let's finish this up though.
Sunday magazine. This is the lead paper in the damn country. This is the American paper of the world. This is April 18th, 1993.
What's this?
Huh?
What's this? Just take question.
Oh, get the tape. Africa 1993. Cause I'm gonna stop. It's loaded with stuff. But the point of it is, I wanted to show you them damn hands. So when he says over here, when he says the Greek letter sigma pi phi, and so by a hand bearing the word sigma pi phi fraternity, that ain't no arbitrary dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
Only further verification of what hand they talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And so they call it, what we're looking for here is, says the colors of the fraternity shall be blue and white. It says the official insignia of the fraternity shall be a pen bearing the figure of a Grecian sphinx and urn, with the Greek letter sigma pi phi inscribed beneath, of which may be appropriately adorned with jewels. The title of the pen is vested in the grand boule. The pen shall be worn by the archons only on the left side of the vest or shirt. In case of loss of pen, Section 3, upon the death of an archon, the pen shall be left in the custody of his widow to be buried or cremated with him. Otherwise, it shall be returned to his subordinate boule.
Wow.
That's deep.
You broke that
I
down.
thought it was interesting that when Warren Christopher went to the Middle East, Brother Ashwa, the place he went was to the space. And I need
What's
to
up?
teach us something about this, about why he may have went there.
We
And
get
in
into
the
some
story,
music
it
possibly.
says his code name is Sphinx. This is the vice chairman of the Council on Foreign Relations. He's a part of that secret society that Cecil Rhodes set up. He's the vice chairman of it. That's why he chaired the Commission on Your Rebellion, because he's in charge of all Negroes. He's now Secretary of State, in charge of Negroes worldwide. Secretary of State Christopher walks from the Sphinx, which he called, quote, a reminder of the tremendous contribution Egypt has made to modern civilization. Now, them ain't the right guys, buddy. Boy, them are not the guys. But he went there. Early on his first day of his just concluded Middle East trip, before the official talks with Egyptian leaders were to begin, Christopher made a walking tour of the nation's most famous landmark, the pyramids and the Sphinx. And
Right.
We also know that we found Brother Maurice. When we first found about the Grecian,
We got the colors that they wear. We got what some of the symbols on their jackets or however what pins they use. What's that about also? So he's giving you pretty much what he's giving you is their attire and the symbols and what those symbols mean. Okay? And like I said, something like this you want to use just to start getting your wheels turned, start thinking about some of this stuff and putting it in a real way. You know, when you just get on YouTube and they take it into this dark place that may or may not exist or whatever, and it kind of messes with you. You know, what I like to do is I like reality, so we got to make it real because it is real, right? If we want it to be. So I got to put it in those terms and make it real for us, so then when it becomes real we can start to, you know, make adjustments to it. You know, they like to put stuff in this weird gray area because then it takes away any type of moral stance that we may want to take. So when you keep stuff in the gray area, it just allows you to play with it back and forth, you know, and you start messing with people's heads. Just like, for instance, we can take R. Kelly and Hugh Hefner, right? And what, R. Kelly's on trial, right? And he's fucking young girls, and he ain't shit, and he's holding them captive in a mansion and things of that nature, right? Well, then Hugh Hefner's doing the same thing, but it's a privilege to go into the Playboy mansion. You have reached some type of status. You see what I'm saying? So they had to create this gray area, you know, and that way they can move to and fro. Well, let's finish this up.
We actually were looking at the logo, and we felt that the logo was a griffin, because a griffin seemed to be similar to the concept of the Grecian Sphinx. And it was, I thought that was a griffin that was there, and Brother Maurice looked up what the griffin meant in the Webster's Dictionary. And you can see that it says something about the griffin. Right. Now it talks about the fabulous bird with the wings and 4 legs and the ears and all of that.
If you got a recorder, I would use a recorder.
Of a griffin, origin unknown. It says a white person new to the East. Yeah. One recently come from the Occident. That's deep.
Thank you.
And then
Appreciate that.
Griffinage, the state of
Sure,
being
I
a
will
white
thank you
person
back.
recently come from the East.
I got you.
And then it says Griffinite, Griffin Park, Los Angeles.
Griffin Park, Los Angeles, where the
So the
observatory
griffin
is.
stands over you. From the highest point, looking over all that you are. They call it Griffin Park, and its conclave is the Greek Theater. Somewhere up there, there's some shit we gotta go find. Somewhere up there is an unlocking of the mystery that keeps this the city of the Los Angeles. This is where the angels lost. They didn't win here, yeah. Hollywood. I thought that was deep. That was deep. Here is, that's a small picture of the Grecian Sphinx. We'll look at some more later. That's from the cover of the bylaws and constitution. And you can see that under the slab, there's some writing here in between there.
Now you can pull this video up on YouTube. You go to a brother page. Check it out.
Of symbols, I found they had a listing for a Grecian Sphinx. And what you know about Greece is it has to have breasts like a woman.
Correct.
Face up. They said we serve one maiden only. We serve one maiden only. And that's another picture of a Grecian Sphinx in a book on the Dictionary of Symbols. Now,
Excellent book to do. Dictionary of Symbols.
and this to show you that has some significance. I'm going to ask if he would to have Brother Oswa Kwesi come up and join me, if I could be so honored. And brother had just come in town today from out of town, and Brother Jamal and brother talked on the telephone, and he looked at some of the symbolism that was encased in the Grecian Sphinx. Here is a larger version. I'm going to get an even larger version, but there's certain things there that you should take a look at.
If you can, on your computer, go ahead and Google Grecian Sphinx, and then you can see it for yourself as we go over the lecture. You can see it for yourself. I can't put it up where you can see it, so I'm sorry about that. But actually, I might have one in my living room or something. But don't worry about it. Google it while we're going through it, and you can see him dissect it.
Yeah, just before I step back a second, remember there's Sigma Pi Phi. Look at the tail in the form of an S. Sigma. The wings are in flight. There's the urn. The urn has significance. Now, in another picture, I'll show that in the urn is the 360 degrees of knowledge. There's a little wheel in there that goes, this little circular wheel. I'm going to show you that off of another picture.
Where does that wheel, where that symbol from the wheel sound familiar to? Biblical. When you talk about these ships, a wheel within a wheel. I think that's Ezekiel. It goes right into it, and you can see where they get these symbols from. It's pretty interesting. Break it all down.
Again, we just go through another link in. There's that concept of that round table again. You gotta pull back on symbols. When I looked in the dictionary of symbols, it said under the word pi, it says pi comes from the Chinese word that means round table.
Exactly.
Sigma Pi Phi. Anyway, that's a whole nother discussion. Brother, I've asked brother to share with you. Let me find the best picture of it.
That is huge,
After he can share with you.
Just did my therapy
and I'm asked if he would do this one again.
about an hour or so ago.
Okay, you hold that one. I have this one here. I'll show it. I'll put it up while you do it. I can put it up. Okay. If he could explain again, just so we can get it on the camera about what that means, which is put in there for, it's just not arbitrary. When you're dealing in Masonic symbolism or secret society symbolism, you're not arbitrarily picking things and putting them there. And I just want him to say again what that might mean, just for the record.
It's going back to
Giving thanks to Brother Coakley for exposing the house Negroes. Keep in mind when you go back as far as you can, all of this, first of all, came up out of Africa. Only the symbols have been distorted, manipulated, to the point where we don't know what it means today.
Nah, that's exactly, if you were in here earlier and yesterday, that was my exact point going into this juncture. When we get to the symbolism, we gotta understand those are our symbols, but they have been trying to make it theirs. So what do? They're gonna adjust it, try to change the meaning, and it's important for us to understand the symbols because there's power in these things. Now it's not as powerful as it used to be because at that time you have people really relying on it and putting energy into it. It's really the people that gives those symbols the power, right? And so now, since it's kind of, I don't want to say it's like a dead language, but it's just not in use by the masses. They kind of keep it under wraps, and they secretly use it. And say, for instance, like, you got a lot of people that start getting informed on it, and they start talking, right? Like how we're doing now. Well, this is where we get into HARP, and this is why I tell people, HARP is not just for weather manipulation. So I got a whole thing on heart. You know, they had to find a way to create reality. Okay, so, and that's when I get into a whole series of creators and non-creators. You know, but we'll get let's stick with this. I don't want to go too far off, but he's pretty much letting you know things have been changed to suit somebody else's ideals.
Now we go back to Prometheus. Now it talks about Prometheus. Where did he have to go? When the Greeks say they had to cross the burning sands, you don't go north of Greece to cross the burning sands. There's no desert in Europe. He had to cross across the Mediterranean, and there's some burning sands there. What desert is that called? Sahara. That's where the knowledge was. He had to go to Mount Olympus. What was Mount Olympus? That was the land of Ethiopia. This is where the light of knowledge was. So in terms of passing the torch, this was symbolic of passing the light. So when the French, by the way, when they had the French Revolution there, Thomas Jefferson was also involved with that. Okay, the overthrow of the French government during that time. So when America set up here, what statue did they give to America? The Statue of Liberty. What symbol do you see the Statue of Liberty kept holding? The torch. The torch of what? The light of our ancestors called Haru. The light of knowledge. All coming from African people. That's why
you see that?
Somebody knows something about us that we don't know about ourselves.
The light of Haru. That's dope. Even just hearing them say that, you know, it should empower you. It should, cause now you understand. Now you getting connection with your ancestors, and that's what this is about. And it's not like I'm not excluding, you know, anybody else, but we've got to put everything into proper context, you know, and that way then we can have a dialogue where we can say, okay, yeah, this fits you and this fits you and that fits you. You know, you can start to fill stuff out for yourself and play with it, you know, because it's yours. What we gotta understand is the gods is nothing if we don't give them power. We give them power. So understand that. So in essence, it's you. You know, but we use symbols and stuff, so it makes it more sense. Man needs to feel something tangible.
They know we're the originators of the knowledge. We are the originators here. Now, brother, you have the other.
Which one you want? This one? Okay. Now, we were looking for, as I showed you the Grecian Sphinx in the other book, we were looking for every Grecian Sphinx we could find, and we found this in Manly Palmer Hall's book under the heading of the initiation of the pyramid. We found this picture of the Grecian Sphinx. And I know you probably read the caption under there, and you see there's certain symbols underneath it. This looks similar to, and let me just see if I can find a larger copy, brother, just to set this up for you. I want to put their logo right next to it. And I got the version of theirs, the biggest one I had, right in my hand during the lecture. Right in one spot. Oh, here it is.
Right.
That ain't it.
You guys on your computer, Google that, Grecian Sphinx, so you can see it.
That I had, well, I used this up.
I would like for you guys to see it if you have the opportunity.
Okay, we better just go ahead off of that one. This is, brother's going to go into this a little bit and help us understand what they're trying to say here.
Now here, we're going to look at the ancient Medo-Netra symbols here. The symbol here, this is called Kepara. Kepara, this is the symbol for light. This symbol here is called Tom. This symbol here is called Neb. This one here, I'm not quite familiar with the ending here. Basically what it's saying here is self-creation of light of the landlord. Now, the feudal landlords in Europe came where? Here. So what they're saying here, they are the creation of light of the new landlords.
Oh, shit.
This is the land of the new landlords that most of us rent from the landlords.
The New World Order boys.
And you see that? See how that was broken down? Then it's like the ancestors That's prophecy. When your ancestors can write something, engrave it, right, and then it's broken down, letting you know that an order has happened, something has changed, the power is shifted to this particular group in this area. Man, that's crazy to even think on that level for them to do that. Man, we gotta really appreciate their ancestors and connect with them a lot more.
New World Order. So that's basically what they have here. So I have right here from Kemet, long before there were any Greek freaks around, our ancestors have, there's the symbol of the Neb right here. Neb, creation. The Kemerah symbol means to create. Wings meaning immortality, meaning spirit. That's what African people dealt with, African spirituality. And Ra meaning the light of Haru, created in the image of Ra. Again, you see the blue, because these colors, these are our colors too, by the way. Red, white, and blue. They don't belong to the Greeks. They don't belong to America. You see the blue on top of the scarab. The scarab was symbolic of the great mind. Now, in the third degree, Brother Copley said that it was the third degree that was the blue degree. Is that right? That was the blue degree of the knowledge. Is that right? So the scarab represented the cranial cavity of the brain, of the knowledge of the mind, of Ptah, the creator of the universe, the first concept of monotheism, or concept of one God. So it is here.
And that's where you get Ignatin. You know, he's the one who come up with monotheism in Europe, the concept of one God. And pretty much what we just saw him do is break down a few of the chakras, using the colors, you know, right up to the crown, pineal. That's where the melanin is, and what we're talking about is people, melanated people, can create reality. That's all this symbolism is really letting you know that. You take that, clear that up, clear the pineal up, boom, and you can just get off and running, you know. Ain't no telling what you'll do. And when you get into that dream state, and I just going to another topic, but I'm just gonna speak on it a little bit. When you get into that dream state, now you start getting into the idea of what is reality and what isn't reality. Because when you're in that state, right, of so-called unconsciousness, you're creating that, and it feels real to you, right? But like this reality we live in, you gotta understand we're constantly creating it, forever creating it. And like I said, that's a whole different thing, and that's a whole, we'll go over that. But let's stick to this for now.
The first concept of one God. Gotcha. So we go through the whole scare? Just a little, yeah.
So we should be talking about, you should be talking about
Again,
igniting.
you see the Neb, just like you see here. Neb means what? Lord. Okay? So this is Lord of creation, meaning Kemerah. Wings, spirituality. Ra, created in the image of Ra. Why did our ancestors say we were created in the image of Ra? Because we got melanin. Ra gives us color. So we're created in the image of Ra, the light of Haru. The top of the scarab looks just like the cranial cavity of the brain. Right. This is where the knowledge is, right? This is where we want to, like brain computer, we have to put out the knowledge that we take in, right? So it is here. The scarab was symbolic of the great mind that our ancestors called Ptah. Ptah was a one God concept, monotheism, and pre-dynastic Egypt. We're talking about pre-dynastic, we're talking about over 20,000, 30,000 years ago. So it is here, the great mind of the universe, showing that the colors, again, are African, belongs to our African ancestors. Meaning the blue, when Brother Copley was talking about the Blue Lodge, was the third degree, was the degree of what? Knowledge, is that right? So where do you see the blue at on here? On top of the scarab, the cranial cavity of the brain. Again, the red, our ancestors always did libation. Blood represented libation. White represented transcending into another state.
Right.
These colors were taken off of the African temple, still there today. Many brothers have been there to see this, to witness it for themselves, who are right here in this room. Brother Jamal and many others, seeing the red, white, and blue going back over 3,000 and 4,000 years ago.
Right.
So it is here that when we break
Few
down
more
the Greek
minutes,
freak
people.
stuff, you've got
Yeah,
to go back into your African ancestral knowledge to see what it goes back to.
Right.
Our ancestors didn't call it the Sphinx, we call it Hermakit, meaning what? Good over evil. We call it the Sunum Bunum, who we're told that Bailey, another Greek freak, who came into Africa, and originally we didn't let them in, by the way, but it was Osmosis II in the 26th dynasty that let them in as mercenaries to fight the Persians. But in any case, they
So you
came in.
gotta excuse me when
And when they came in, when Osmosis let them in,
you.
it is here where he learned the concept of the Sunum Bunum. It didn't go back to Bailey. And the Sunum Bunum was the supreme good. Now, we also had our secret lodges, but it was based off of the concept of the Sunum Bunum, the supreme good for the salvation of your soul. Meaning
Now,
that, I know this is going
let me stop right there because now we're going full circle right back where we're supposed to be. What is the boule? It's another fraternal order. It's another group. This group is more compiled with black people. You know, not to say white people isn't in the boule, but just like you can have black people that's probably in Skull and Bone, you know. But all I'm telling you is this is a part of that whole big network that they call the Illuminati, and we gotta change that. Cause how the hell we gonna take something that means light, which is something good, you want to be a bearer of light, and then demonize it? Understand what that does to your psyche. It messes it all up. It messes it all up. So, alright.
out there for a minute. Stay with it, brother. The pineal gland in the brain, our ancestors saw was the seat of man and woman's soul, the African man and woman's soul. So, Rahamak is facing the east, where the sun rises up in the east. It hits him right in his forehead with a pineal gland, showing the suppressing of a beastly nature in man. So the Greek freaks, we didn't let them in because they want a beastly level.
We just saw this, right? What movie did we just see this in, people? Come on. What movie did we just see this in? They just depicted this in the movie. Okay. The movie Get Out, they just depicted that. Everything he just talked about, he just was talking about, they depicted that in the movie. And when we do that, it's a whole nother thing too. I mean, it's so much. Let me continue.
I have pictures showing creeps poking each other in the butt. You see, that's why this is not a new thing for them. Okay? It's not a new thing. Riding the hump. Riding the hump. Right. You can go get the demonology of the Bible, written in 1657. Before the King James Version of the Bible, they had demonology of the Bible, and they had this goat. And they rode this goat. And this was the Satan worship or bestiality that they were in. So when the Masons said that they ride the hump, this is the initiation for the beast. The beast that they're coming out of. So they never had the concept of the Sunum Bunum, the supreme good. So our ancestors taught this because we understood that if you went at the Netherroot, that they call nature today, that if you didn't go at a divine level, it would open up the negative forces of nature to you. So you had to come through initiation from your high nature, not from your low nature. So the Greek freaks who came from their low nature.
So like now he's dealing with the chakras. You know how you got 7. You got the lower 3, and you got the heart chakra in the middle. Then you got the other 3 at the top. that gets to the crown, and that gives you your 7 chakras right there. Some people go with 9, but I mean, me personally, I'll stick with the 7, but some people go with 9. But he's pretty much letting you know that when you come into nature and your energy is a certain way, it's going to pick up on that, and that's what you're going to attract. And if you come in, and you can use that in everyday life. If you come in a situation and say you in the lowest one, right, where you just in more like a physical, either I want to fight somebody or I want to have sex, that's part of that lower chakra. And you will go into that environment and you're gonna get that. You're gonna attract somebody that's on that same wavelength as you, or that whole environment, a change to what you want, depending on how powerful you are. And you can use colors to do that. Like one training that I would do, you would meditate, right? And we use orange for that's the 2nd chakra. So you meditate and you want to see that color orange, right? So what ends up happening is now you can use that power. So I go into a situation and I have given energy to this particular color, right? And now when I see it, I'm going to emit that energy over to that color in that environment, changing it to what I want it to be. And these are the things that our ancestors was doing. And these are the things that we will be doing, and you can do it, we all can do it, and we just gotta stay dedicated and listen. And like I said, cut out the westernized Christianity, because they demonized all this shit. You gotta de-brainwash yourself on that. Let's keep it moving though.
Didn't understand none of this. So when they went at the forces of Netaru, like studying the concept of the atom, that they tell us Democritus brought the concept of the atom. No, he studied it from Kemet. That's why they were able to produce a hydrogen bomb. Because only a beast could produce a hydrogen bomb. That's right, huh? Because he wanted nature at a negative or the beastly level. So the concept that we run around talking about, I'm this religion and I'm that religion, we didn't have no religion. That's right. Yeah. We had African spirituality. Finding yourself one universe. Something that the beasts, you see right here, represented as themselves, haven't dealt with yet. So the concept of Harmaket showing the suppressing of the beastly nature in man to rise up to son of blood. And by the way, my brother, let me mention that the Grecian maiden is on top of the Capitol building. Okay. They just took it down for cleaning, too. Oh, is that right? Yes, okay, being cleaned right now. Right. Cleaning on top of the Capitol building in relationship with Brother Kobe was saying. Wow, that's deep. And by the way, there's some brothers in Japan, and they also wanted me to let you know that they're over there. The brothers brought me all the way to Japan to lecture to them. And
it's moving, man. It's moving. You know, you can understand that the symbology that has been taken out of Egypt, placed in all these different places throughout the world. When you look at Washington, D.C., Anthony Bauer, I believe, he does a whole tour of Washington, D.C. and breaks all that down. They're all around us. It's just we're unaware of them. It's hidden in plain sight. But once you open up and you start to see it, and you gotta understand all of this shit. Before we go any further, I want everybody to know all of this shit is within you. Period. All of it. All of that power. It's all within you. Even all the information, it's all within you. It's just a matter of you tapping into that and making yourself aware of it. But it's already there. There is nothing outside of you. There's nothing that's going to happen outside of you. Even when you think about life, period, you think about the ideal form, right? So, that concept of ideal is like, you think of a tree, right? And there is a perfect tree somewhere in a different realm in its ideal form, but it has manifested here. That had to come from somewhere within. You see what I'm saying? So you bring everything up to a level of existence. That's what happens. And then, like I said, you have that other level, which is the ideal form. Pretty much, say if you made shoes or car where like the prototypes are. That's what that is. That's what that would be at. Okay? And understand that you bring things into reality. And it's funny because it gotta always have something to do with energy. Always have to have something to do with energy. When you bring it up to this plane that we on now, you gotta relate it to energy, or else it's not gonna exist. Period. Oh, got a little bit more to go.
In Tokyo, Yokota, and Masawa, and these are brothers who are in the military and got conscious while they were in the service. Got conscious while they were in the service. Right. So they brought me over to lecture, and there was some in a place called Zama who unfortunately got caught with the beast. I think they married the cave woman. And outside of Zama, everything went smoothly. The brothers and sisters over there, highly enlightened with the information, only the brothers in Zama who realized that this was about African nation building, to bringing together us as an African people, and they realized that they had to give up the white wives. So they had a hard time with that.
And it was hard with that. It's hard for brothers to do that, right? It's hard. They ain't gonna do it. It's so tempting. I gotta have it.
The larger size version of the Boule's logo itself. This is off their rostrum. And as you can see, there's the urn, and there's something in the urn. Now, we've always talked about the circle within the circle.
Right.
As being part of that pursuit. Someone else looks at this as the 360 degrees of knowledge inside the urn. Is there any significance to that urn and that right paw being up?
Yes. It's like the
I know
statue of
the
liberty.
symbol here, right off the top of my mind, right off the top.
I don't mean to put you on the spot here, brother.
I would say that this symbol represents the sun. That's how we represent the sun. It was a circle with
The
the dot
light.
in the middle. Okay.
Like the Statue of Liberty.
That's how we represented the sun. The dot may have been the pineal gland. Also, go and look at the encyclopedia under the pineal gland, and it talks about the pineal gland. It develops your sexual behavior. Excretes the melanin, excretes from your pineal gland for your development of your sexual behavior. So if the pineal gland is activated by...
And now what he's talking about is what I went into before. Now he's going back to the chakra systems. Okay, now he's going back to that. So when he says it enhances the sexual nature, that's at the root chakra. That's at the lowest part. That's at the root chakra, where to start at. Now it's up to you to raise that and keep it going. You know, ideally you want to go to the heart chakra. They call that the Christ chakra. You know, and from that point, then you get access to the upper ones until you get to your crown. And when you're sitting in your crown, in your throne, now you really the ultimate creator. You have mastered that. Well, you gotta understand that when he's talking about just the initial part of it, and that melanin is an actual fluid that secretes through your body. It'll go to your lowest point in your body. It'll go to the root, and that's where we get sex and things like that, and physical stuff. Okay, what's up, new person? Got a couple more minutes in this.
Of the sun, did our ancestors have Rahamakis, or Hamakis that the Greeks call a sphinx facing the east? If these folks did not live in the sun belt, that means they have an underdevelopment of a pineal gland. That's right. So this explains the beastly nature that you see out here today with all these freaks running around. That's right. The underdevelopment of the pineal gland. Now, right off the top of my mind, I would say that represents the sun. And the sun is definitely bringing 360 degrees of life on this planet.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother. We slide over here and look at the caption under the Manly Palmer Hall picture.
Got about 5 minutes
See that he has
left.
a dialogue here, brother, that further continues the disagreement. Isn't this interesting that where he got this analogy from was from Levi's Les Mysteries de la Kabbalah. The mysteries of the Kabbalah.
The Kabbalah.
Is where Manly Farmer.
Now, if you don't understand what the Kabbalah is, that's the Jewish mystic system. Okay, and that uses a lot of numbers. It uses a lot of numerology. You gotta understand what these numbers certain numbers represent when you get into the Kabbalah. That is Jewish mystics. Okay, that's what the Kabbalah is, and it was practiced before the Bible was practiced. So again, you got stuff that comes before it. So if you want to get, it's a whole Kabbalah math system that is pretty deep. You can get into it. It's a tree, and you can use the numbers. It'll help you out sometime. It was one guy on YouTube that was trying to kind of use it, but he didn't really know what he was doing. He would see certain things, and he tried to make it fit, but it didn't fit. He was using it wrong. It ain't for him anyway. So of course it's gonna not come out right. But if you want to get into the Jewish mystic system, the Kabbalah, you can get into it. But like I said, it's more about numbers. That's what the Kabbalah is. It's more about numbers and using numbers to tell stories and things of that nature.
Paul wrote his analogy of the stolen legacy, saying that the Grecian Sphinx, see, when they call it Grecian Sphinx, they jump into a cold language of just white people. The just white people version says that the Egyptian Sphinx is closely related to the Greek legend of Oedipus. The Greek legend of Oedipus, which has something to do about the killing of the father of the people to marry the mother of the people. Some of you want to say that, brother? That hit something?
Yeah, you see that? This is westernized thinking. When they take those symbols and they change it. And now you have a symbol that represents killing the head of the household, the father. That's deep. Especially when you're in that system and don't even know it. When you're under attack and you don't even know it. This is why it's called no hype news. I'm just give it to you straight. A few more minutes.
Okay. It says, and then it goes on to say Oedipus was the first one to solve the riddle of the Sphinx. It says, it goes on here, it says, discovering one who knew the answer to her riddle, the Sphinx cast herself from the cliff which bordered the road and perished. It says about the riddle. Let me just read it, read into the record for what it says, and we'll leave the interpretation.
I was given this riddle by
solved the famous riddle of propagandized by the mysterious creature with the body of a winged lion, the head of a woman, the body of a winged lion, the head of a woman, and frequented the highway leading to Thebes. To each who passed her lyre, the Sphinx addressed the question, what animal is it that in the morning goes on
like
4 feet, at noon on 2 feet, and in the evening on 3 feet? Those who failed to answer her riddle, she destroyed. Oedipus declared the answer to be man himself, who in childhood crawled upon his hands and knees, in manhood stood erect, and in old age stumbled along supporting himself by a staff. Discovering one who knew the answer to her riddle, the Sphinx cast herself from the cliff, which bordered the road and perished. Maybe it is that there's a mystery behind them, and we solve the mystery related to them, that their ability to hide and keep something secret would be diminished, and that this diminishing will force them to self-destruct, which means there may be an active goal of figuring out just what they are and what they're doing. It says here, there is still another answer to the riddle of the Sphinx. Now, this is Manly Farmer Hall stuff. That's revealed by the consideration of the Pythagorean values of numbers.
The Pythagorean theorem.
The
Didn't create that.
The 2 and the 3 produce the sum of 9. Remember those 4 plus 4 and 1? 4 Greek female, 4 Greek male, 1. You know, the last of those fraternities were created in the 20s, sororities. There's never been a 10th one, which is the natural number of man and also to the lower worlds. The 4 represents the ignorant man, the 2 the intellectual man, the 3 the spiritual man. Infant humanity walks on 4 legs, evolving humanity on 2 legs, and to the power of his own mind, the redeemed and illuminated Magnus adds the staff of wisdom. The Sphinx is therefore the mystery of nature, the embodiment of the secret doctrine, and all who cannot solve a riddle, and all who cannot solve a riddle, to pass the Sphinx is to attain personal immortality.
Yep.
Now that's into his description of the Greek version of the Sphinx, of which brother said there's no such thing. And that.
And it isn't. Okay, we're gonna stop the video right there. Pretty much we was going over that earlier. You know, when you give yourself a beginning, you're ultimately giving yourself an end. Okay, so you got to start look at yourself as the Alpha and the Omega. There is no beginning to me. There is no end to me. Because my energy is just going to transfer different planes of existence. So that's, you know, that's the boule. There's a little bit more to it that we'll go over that probably tomorrow, but it's very quick. And that one, I'll do some of Coakley, and then I'll have some of the stuff that I wrote myself, and we'll play with it. I'll put, they actually have like pictures of different actors and stuff. You know, pretty much some of the older guys who was in charge of the black community. You know, they were the heads of the community, like your shit, I can't remember his name. Al Sharpton. Of course, you got Cosby. You had Martin Luther was up there. W.E.B. Du Bois. He was up there. I mean, Du Bois is so obvious. I mean, just how the NAACP countered Marcus Garvey's movement back to Africa is evident of who he works for. Okay, when we talk about Marcus Garvey and the whirlwind, we'll get into that also. But that was pretty much it. Like I said, I think I already answered the question for the biblical brother who wanted to talk, who got into Revelation. Feel he was satisfied with that. See if there's any other questions, you know, ask. If not, then just I mean, you can post it. I'll see it at any time. But I'm getting sleepy, so you gotta forgive me. I have a rib literally growing out of the side, right here. So the pain is crazy. And then I do my therapy, so you know, it is what it is. But we still sharing the knowledge and growing with it, trying to become gods ourselves by understanding that, right? So I want to say thank you for everybody coming, my Facebook family. You already know it's nothing but love there. YouNow family, you know, thank you for coming and participating. Remember to like, and we're gonna give more information. The next, like I said, we'll go over that next time. And I know I promised that Tupac thing, but I'm still a little skeptical on how to present it. So the Tupac thing is coming. The duality of Tupac. That's what I'm calling it. The duality of Tupac. Okay? So that name alone, I already know my family over here on Facebook already know the duality of Tupac. I already know they gone with it already. So, you know, we going in with that into a lot of people on YouNow that understand that aspect, you're gonna start looking at it from that angle too. I suggest you do that, because then we can kind of see what was really going on. I can already show you when the Panthers was infiltrated. I can already show you that. I can already show you that the Panthers was really working with the government. There's a lot of history on that. Okay, so we don't go into that. The duality of Tupac, but like I said, I gotta be. When I hit this, we gotta hit it just right. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm kind of easing onto it. And we got the boule, which is cool. I think a lot of people starting to understand, because they don't talk about that. They don't talk about the boule at all. You rarely hear it. So I'm just putting that out there, and there's more information on that too. And I'll post some stuff up on my Facebook page and Instagram and Snap, all that. I'll post more information up. It's a lot of literature that I have, and you can get to it. You know, I give it to you with the video in the lecture form, you know, because it's a little better, and then we can have this, you know, a back and forth conversation at the same time. So I think we kind of get it more, it resonates more with some people. So, you know, so yep. So we do that, and I touched on basketball already with the Kyrie thing, but it gets deeper than that. But that's coming when I'm doing my season preview. Okay, so basketball heads, yo, I got a season preview for you guys. I got a season prediction for you guys. So you guys gonna enjoy that when I bring that into the music heads. Let me know what's the next. Who do we want to break down? I'm thinking I might throw in Lupe Fiasco, and we can just go at it and break him down, or we can just jump and break down Kendrick. You know, whoever you guys want to break down, we'll do it. We'll go over their career, we'll go over their songs, we'll go over their steps, and then we can start letting their actions speak for who they really are. Because there's a lot of people that's saying they're conscious and they ain't. Or if they is conscious, they conscious and they go in another direction with it. Okay, so we gotta understand that. We also got the heart conversation coming up. So, you know, I'll probably do 2 tomorrow. I probably gotta do 2 tomorrow. And on Wednesday I got a surgery, so I'll be in surgery, and I'll see how that goes. Maybe Thursday night or Wednesday night. It all depends on how the surgery goes, and I'm gonna hit y'all with more stuff, you know. And hopefully I'll be talking better too, cause my esophagus stopped closing on me. So we'll see what happens with that too. So hopefully that'll be better. Should be. Figure out this fucking rib poking out. So we'll figure all that out. But thank everybody for coming. Love y'all. And peace. That's pretty much it. Let me shut this down.